as if he was nothing but a big, white, pony-shaped balloon. Kevin struggled to break free, but after a while, he realized that it was useless and just followed where Lumphammer led. He can't hold on to the rope forever, Kevin told himself. Sooner or later, he'll let go, and then I'll fly away. It was starting to get dark as they walked through the woods beside the lake. Across the water came the same eerie noise that Kevin had heard earlier, but it sounded much louder and nearer now. It went. It made all the hairs in Kevin's mane stand up on end. "What's that?" he asked.
"Who knows?"
said Lumphammer.
"There's all sorts of beasties living here now. Baz is filling the place with monsters and weirdos like you."
Kevin was offended. He wasn't a weirdo. He was a beautiful, magic flying pony. He certainly didn't belong in a place full of monsters. He'd never met a monster, but he thought they were probably scary and mean. Those eerie, screeching noises were still coming from the lake, and they made him wish he was back in his own nest, nibbling a custard cream and getting ready to snuggle down for the night. Beyond the lake, there was a sort of rocky crag, and on the far side of the crag there was a section of the garden which had been sealed off with a high fence. Lumphammer went to a gate in the fence, pushed it open, and pulled Kevin through.
"This here is your enclosure,"
said Lumphammer.
"Welcome to your new home."
"Ha!" thought Kevin to himself, as the beastly butler detached the rope from his halter and went back out through the gate. "I won't be staying here for long. What a twit! Has he forgotten I'm a flying pony?" He flapped his wings as hard as they would flap and went zooming up into the sky. But he hadn't gone far before something stopped him. A net had been fixed over the top of the enclosure like a see-through roof. It was so thin that Kevin hadn't noticed it until he flew into it, and so strong that he could not push through. Said Kevin, tumbling back to the ground.
"Nighty night,"
said Lumphammer, and he locked the gate and walked away through the woods, whistling. Kevin looked around the enclosure. There was a manger in one corner, but it was full of hay, not custard creams. There was a smart little stable, but Kevin had never slept in a stable. He felt awfully homesick. He missed his nest, and he missed Max and Daisy. 2 tears trickled down his nose and dripped off the end. Plop, plop. Sadly, he started dragging the straw outside to make a nest, and wondered how long he would have to stay in this nasty place. He was sure Max and Daisy's mum and dad would sort things out when they heard what had happened. He hoped it would be soon. He had just finished the nest and settled down in it when a dry twig snapped somewhere on the far side of the fence. Kevin raised his head and looked around. He had forgotten about the monsters, but there they were, shadowy shapes, emerging from the trees. The moonlight made silvery reflections in their eyes. "Go away, monsters!" Kevin shouted. "We're not monsters," said the monsters. "We're just magical creatures like you. Baz Gumption and that pop star lady tricked us into coming here, and now we can't escape." They came out of the shadows of the trees, into the light of the moon. There was a centaur, a horse with the chest and head and arms of a boy. There was a very small dragon, who sneezed blue flame. There was a girl who wore sunglasses, even though it was night, and whose hair was a hissing nest of snakes. There was a man with goat's legs and curly horns and a nice woolly cardigan. I see what Lumphammer meant, thought Kevin. What a bunch of weirdos. But it did make him feel a bit happier, knowing that he wasn't the only prisoner of Gloomsbury Grange. He drew himself up proudly, raised his wings, and said, "I'm Kevin. Never fear. I'll get you out of here."